the right, left. This is it. Drops into a little dip, comes up to the Chateau d'Eau. Is Hakkinen going to have another go here?
I keep expecting to see a McLaren whiz past into one of those corners, because Eddie is taking it very steadily into those, but Hakkinen really not quite close enough to make it stick.
Well, you can see with Eddie that he's staying on the line, so he goes over the line ahead of Mika Hakkinen by that same amount. In terms of time, it's half a second. Time is irrelevant, it's distance now. And you can see how close Mika Hakkinen is, but these cars are so evenly matched. The drivers are so evenly matched. And Mika Hakkinen's got to try to force Eddie Irvine into making a mistake, and that's Nakano in the Minardi touring in. And his teammate Tuero has already long since retired. Just for the record, the retirements are Rosset, Damon Hill, Tuero, Trulli in the Prost, and Takagi in the Tyrrell. Ralf Schumacher is still going. 17 out of the 22 who started are still running on lap 69. 2 to go at the end of this one. Schumacher should win. He's only got those few miles to go, but who is going to be second?
Yes, poor old Eddie Jordan must be tearing his hair out. Both cars out of the points again, having looked so strong all through practice and qualifying. Meanwhile, Eddie Irvine is almost stretching the gap a little bit, isn't he? He was 1/10 faster than Hakkinen on the previous lap. 2 laps to go, as you can clearly see. Hakkinen's going to have to make a move very soon, and you sense maybe he's just accepting those 4 points at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like the Williams in front of him as they go over the line. So this is lap 70. Just 1 lap to go after this one.
There's going to be some fireworks for a point at the back. And Lacey is currently in 6th place. David Coulthard on yet another charge is just 1.8 seconds behind him and lapping about that speed faster. Frentzen there clearly got a terminal problem with the car and appears to be out of the race. So Coulthard still could snatch a point despite all of those pit stops.
From 8th position, Coulthard actually ahead of Heinz-Harald Frentzen at the moment. So David Coulthard's got a heck of a lot to do still. He's 2 seconds behind Jean Lacey, but there's precious little time left for him. He's been lapped, so he'll only have to do 70 laps in comparison with Michael Schumacher, Irvine, Hakkinen and Villeneuve. Only 4 people are going to go the full race distance, and Michael Schumacher is on his 70th lap out of 71. Frentzen is retired. I'm looking down on the Williams as they wheel it into the garage underneath my feet. So only one Williams is going to finish this race, that of Jacques Villeneuve. Both Ferraris look like finishing, both McLarens look like finishing, but in what order? That is the question.
Into the last lap then. Last lap for this scrap for second place, and Irvine driven very, very maturely. Hasn't really succumbed to any kind of pressure from Hakkinen and just kept his head, not been locking brakes, not been getting untidy, and Mika really having to play second best there to Eddie Irvine. Can Coulthard, he's half a second down going into the last lap, can he snatch a consolation point?
Well, I hope our French producer hasn't forgotten that there's a bloke called Michael Schumacher in this race, because these two are on the last lap, and Michael Schumacher is 20 seconds ahead of them. As I've said many times, this race looking good for his 3rd win and his 2nd in succession to give him maximum points. And if any over, there is Schumacher, Michael Schumacher coming home to win the French Grand Prix as he did last year, and as he did Michael Schumacher in 1995 and 1994. 10 World Championship points for Schumacher and for Ferrari, and he pulls across to show his mechanics the Ferrari that they have fettled, and Eddie Irvine's going to finish second unless Hakkinen could do a Villeneuve like last year. And the answer...
Yeah, he may just... Oh, what Eddie's going so slowly around there.
Eddie,
did he have a problem?
Yes, he's
done
wow,
it. That was
Eddie
close,
Irvine
wasn't it?
finishes second, just ahead of Mika Hakkinen, and the Ferrari team are absolutely euphoric. They've done that 1-2. 16 maximum World Championship points, and Eddie Irvine beat Mika Hakkinen by 1/10 of a second.
Eddie seemed to take it so slowly through the chicane, almost like he had some kind of problem, then jumped on the throttle pedal through the last corner, over the start-finish line, which is immediately on the exit, and just took the 2nd place.
We got another battle here. Villeneuve and Wurtz for 4th and 5th, not nearly so close. But Jacques Villeneuve takes that 4th position if he just comes out of the last corner all right, which is more than he did last year when he tried to take Eddie Irvine's position from him in the closing yards of the race. Failed to do so. Wow! Race order in France as you look at an understandably and justifiably overwrought Ferrari team. Michael Schumacher wins by 19.5 seconds. Eddie Irvine finishes second by 1/10 of a second. Ferrari gets 16 World Championship points. Mika Häkkinen only gets those 4 points for 3rd position, and that could make all the difference to the World Championship battle between himself and Michael Schumacher.
Wurtz was 5th, and David Coulthard did take a Lacey on the last lap for the final World Championship point, leaving the two Saubers of Lacey and Herbert in 7th and 8th place.
Now we're just trying to frantically work out what's happening in the championship. I'll tell you, Mika Häkkinen is now only 6 points ahead of Michael Schumacher. It's all up for grabs. It was 12 points, and Michael Schumacher's victory here has halved it. David Coulthard is 3rd on 30 points. Eddie Irvine is very close to him. He's in 4th position as he was when this race began, but instead of being 10 points behind Coulthard, he's 5 points behind him. Alexander Wurtz has moved up into 5th position ahead of his teammate Giancarlo Fisichella. Well, halfway through the championship. And with that news, leave us at Magny-Cours for a few moments, but rejoin us soon, and let's see the drivers on the podium. Well, a great French Grand Prix, and there in the Parc Fermé, at the top of your picture, Michael Schumacher gets out of the Ferrari. Eddie Irvine, a magnificent drive. In my opinion, the man of the race, and I do include Michael Schumacher. They congratulate each other, and now I bet you that Michael Schumacher is going to go, yes, he does. Michael Schumacher knows that the mechanics, the technicians, the engineers have made his drive possible and acknowledges it. Thanks them all individually. Well, this is a great, wonderful day for Ferrari.
A walk in the park for Michael, and well taken, and Eddie Irvine will get a lot of credit for his supporting role there, and I agree with you, he really did do a superb job under pressure from the World Championship leader Mika Häkkinen. Made no mistakes, somehow a little bit slow in the last corner, but still managed to creep over the line by 1/10 of a second to equal his best ever result in Formula One.
So Michael Schumacher only 6 points now behind Mika Häkkinen in the World Championship, and Ferrari with that maximum of 16 points close up on McLaren, who got 5 points for Mika Häkkinen's 3rd place and David Coulthard's 6th position, which he achieved in the end. And now Ferrari are only 11 points behind McLaren. There is Jean Todt, and he's the man that's made it all possible. Yes, Luca Montezemolo, who is the boss of Ferrari, has given him all the support he needed, but it was Jean Todt who had to sort things out, recruit the right people, motivate everyone in the whole organisation. That he's done brilliantly. He always said it would take years to bring Ferrari back to the top, but this, to me, is an indication of the fact that all their labour, all their time, all their money is yielding fruit. And up onto the podium comes Jean Todt. There are the victors. Eddie Irvine very, very happy with that 2nd place. Michael Schumacher, is he going to do his victory leap? Not this time, I don't think. And Mika Häkkinen on the right. Well, Mika Häkkinen's had his share of wins. He won in Australia and Brazil. He won in Spain and Monaco, but was not to win here. Never looked anything like winning here. Michael Schumacher smilingly acknowledges his 30th Grand Prix win as the Italian national anthem rings out for Ferrari. Well, Ferrari are on top here at Magny cours anyway. Will they be at Silverstone in 2 weeks' time at the British Grand Prix? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure it's going to be a terrific race because there's virtually nothing in it between Ferrari with Schumacher and Irvine and McLaren with Coulthard and Mika Hakkinen, who is on that third row step of the podium. Very close in the Constructors' World Championship, very close in the Drivers' World Championship, and I bet you it's going to get a lot closer in the remaining half season of the 1998 World Championship. Michael Schumacher has made it happen, Ferrari have made it happen, Jean Todt there has made it happen. And we're going to benefit from it because the 8 races that we still have left in Britain, Austria, Germany, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Luxembourg and far off Japan are going to make the first half of the season look pretty ordinary, I think, and it's been a very good one indeed. As the champagne goes out, it's been a great French Grand Prix. Up there on the podium, the top 3. What's happened to David Coulthard? James Allen is with him in the pit lane.
Well, David, just looking at the celebrations, you could have been a part of them today. You must be gutted.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed. You know, we just had a catalogue of cock-ups today. Problems with the refuelling rig, which meant, you know, despite managing to get past Eddie, when I made my pit stop, I came out way behind Mika, and it was just went from worse after there because every time I came in, we had a problem with the refuelling hose, and it kept putting me back out in traffic. And you know, 1 point's consolation, but it's just not good enough.
You must be wondering what have you got to do to get a break, really.
Yeah, I think I justifiably could feel a little bit hard done by. I know I've got a great car, so it isn't as bad as being in mid-grid, but it just don't seem to have things going for me at the moment. It's 3 races that have gone very badly, and it's not the way to go for championship.
Championship isn't gone though yet.
No, it's not gone, but we just can't afford to give away points the way we are. So, you know, we need to have a good look at things.
David, thanks for talking to us.
Yes, our thanks to David Coulthard for that miserable luck he's had over the last couple of races. But as Brian Moore once said, it's all up for grabs now, the championship. And let's have a look how things look. It really has squeezed up Mika Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher. That gap is now just 6 points. And David Coulthard, well, he is a massive 20 points behind Hakkinen, his teammate. And I guess we wonder whether McLaren will now put all their eggs into the Hakkinen basket. And just looking at the Constructors' Championship, halfway stage, remember, and Ferrari squeezing close. Remember, they said this is definitely going to be their year. Just 11 points behind McLaren. OK, let's have a word with Tony Jardine. Tony, drama really right from the start, right from the off here. We've seemed to have a series of clean starts in the championship, and now a couple of very contentious ones.
Things could have been so very much different here. Now, we don't know. There was a problem with the lights. The abort lights came on at the top, and the red lights stayed on, yet off they went. Did Michael Schumacher hesitate? We don't know, but he got off the line very, very slowly indeed, and it was because the port light came on, because Jos Verstappen was stuck in gear on the grid there. But even so, Schumacher, after that, he cut across in front of the McLaren on the outside, and here we are on the restart here, going through. Everything goes very smoothly indeed. Heinz-Harald Frentzen keeping out of trouble there from the on-car. He's behind Ralf Schumacher. He knows that Schumacher's probably going to start very slowly. Benetton goes down the outside. Hill goes down the outside. While all this has been going on, Eddie Irvine has done an absolutely brilliant barrelling start down the outside and got past both of the McLarens from 4th place on the grid. Absolutely sensational start. So then Ferrari turned it all the way around, 360 degrees. But that's why Irvine, right from the beginning, became the man of the match.
I think it was the second start, wasn't it, Tony, that really confirmed that it was going to be a pretty miserable old day for the McLarens, because Ferrari got away. Eddie Irvine could then ride shotgun all the way, couldn't he?
It was a lacklustre start by the McLarens, and in particular Mika Hakkinen on there. If you can look from here, now there's the red lights all on, and they go off as they should do. There was some electrical fault before, and then Schumacher just hesitated for a while, but suddenly got grip and he got traction, and wham, off he went into this fantastic start. But you can see Irvine as he went down the side through Grand Courbe, and before they go into Estoril, that 150-mile-an-hour bend. That is brave stuff from Irvine, and it's a tremendous job from the number 2. He's almost equal number 1 now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he probably is. He's still wondering about his contract. He might be a bit safer now. But just going back to David Coulthard, I mean, there will be massive inquests this week at the McLaren headquarters in Woking about those pit stops, both of them.
Yeah, we're talking about equipment here, which is supplied by the FIA. It's standard equipment. Now, this is the first pit stop when he'd come in here. Now, what had happened was that he'd been in 3rd place at the time, lap 56. When he came in, there was already a problem. The cat flap hadn't come up. Now, it's those nozzles that have to connect male to female. Now, here's the second stop. 1 lap later, he comes back in. We're 16 seconds into it now, and here we are. The O-rings, presumably, are broken in the middle, and this male-female connection for the airlock, which is like aircraft-style refueling equipment, it is not locking in, and it's causing tremendous problems. Now, there's a measurement on each of the refueling equipment. They can't get it in, send him out again. He has to come back in later on. Each equipment has a certain measure of fuel that has to go in, and each driver has his own set of equipment. So that's why later on they then used Hakkinen's refueling equipment, but it obviously didn't have enough in it. We had to come back in again.
Yeah, it was desperately sad for him. Now, Murray Walker had Eddie Irvine as his man of the French Grand Prix, and that scrap with Mika Hakkinen was fantastic.
I just want to say I had money on him before this race, but, you know, with 10
to
laps
win.
to go, 12, yeah, to win, of course, but he could have done. With 10 laps to go, this is the sort of pressure that he was under. Mika Hakkinen coming round the outside of Adelaide there, and stoically Eddie Irvine standing his ground on the inside of that hairpin. And look, he knew it was very slippery here. He knew that oil had been put down. He was going through there very tentatively, and on the very last lap, Hakkinen almost went back up his backside there, and the two crossed the line just fractions a second apart, despite Hakkinen putting in the blue smoke and lighting up the rear tyres. That was a fantastic finish.
Jubilation then for Ferrari, their first 1-2 for 8 years. More from Manny Cours in a moment. Michael Schumacher and Ferrari, the big winners here at Manny Cours today. Michael Schumacher has been chatting away in the press conference. Let's hear what the winners had to say.
And a very important race for you today.
Yeah, that's true. A couple of things come obviously together. As you say, 30th win, very important for the championship. I don't know whether there has ever been a 1-2 of Ferrari. We definitely have done it now, and it's
about time.
Yeah, it's time. That's true. And now it's just amazing. I mean, we have worked very, very hard over the last couple of months, and I think there's 2 groups should be said a particular compliment. One is the Goodyear group, which worked very, very hard on the tyre. We tested a new tyre last week, and they were flat out just to give us that particular tyre for here.
All smiles then from Ferrari. McLaren have to stop and think. Right, we've had a huge entry to our glorious 12th competition to win a VIP trip.